of life as breathing, while other people think I'm so popular, I have a life. And then there's people like me who think, hey, the board game life. Well, with the board game, I actually have an illustration today. So on the back of the box, it asks a question. It asks, where will your choices take you? Now, they're talking about the risky road and the safe route, going to college or just getting a job. Choices in the game that take you on different paths. But in your life, where will your choices take you? Psalm 16:11 says, you will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. I've got 2 questions for you. First, where will your choices take you? And second, what life will you choose? So I would hope everyone in here has made a good choice, but I know everyone in here has made a bad one, because all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Now, when we make a good choice, good comes out of it. Everyone knows that. But for some reason, people think when you make a bad choice, good still comes out of it. But that's not true. So let's look at some examples. Start with Genesis, chapter 3. The story of Adam and Eve. So they were in the garden, they took the fruit, and now they're trying to hide. So God shows up and he asks, where are you? Well, he knew exactly where they were, but their response in verse 10 was, we're hiding because we're, naked. Pause for a moment. God walked with them in the garden. They were all natural. No shame, no problem. Well, until they made a bad choice. You see, they tried to cover up their sin with fig leaves. Another example of a cover story in forbidden fruit is in 2 Samuel 11, the story of David and Bathsheba. Now David, he wanted a woman who was already married. And it started with a glance, but he looked with lust that second time. Eventually, he tried to cover up that he, the king, got a woman pregnant. And he did this by killing Bathsheba's husband. He cared more about his reputation, and that's the only reason he did it. He cared more about his reputation than he did Bathsheba, the thing he was lusting after, the thing he thought would make him happy. Adam and Eve, they covered their sin with fig leaves. But David covered up his sin with murder. How far will your choices take you? The Bible reminds us in Numbers 32:23, be sure your sin will find you out. Our bad choices always have consequences. So first, where will your choices take you? My second question for today is, what life will you choose? Matthew 7:13-14, it says, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. But small is the gate, and narrow is the road that leads to life.
That's right.
But only few find it. In the board game life, there's a spinner. It determines how many spaces you'll move forward or take back. In my life at times, I let my friends spin for me. I let their comments and opinions make me feel worthless. It led me down the wrong path. And you have to be careful. You can't listen to those voices. And we've all gone through that time where we're on this broad road that's full of darkness. And we don't know where to go. But in John 8:12, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.
Yeah.
I challenge you today. It's time to evaluate. Where are your choices taking you? Are you on the narrow road that leads to life? Or on the path that leads to destruction? Secondly, you have to answer this question. What life will you choose? God draws that line in Deuteronomy 30:15. Now listen, today, I am giving you a choice between life and death. What will you choose? If you choose life in Jesus, I can tell you where your choices take you. They take you to heaven. So be wise. Choose life. Choose Jesus.